Bark, and we're moving into our final conversation for this morning. Very interesting event that is going to be hosted in March. It is a traditional medicine expo, and we have with us 3 representatives of the University of Belize's Pharmacy Club. They're also pharmacy students as well. We have Alexandra Smith, who is the vice president of the club. We have Shantel Andrews, who is one of the members, and in the middle we have Christiana Pitterson, who's also a pharmacy student as well as a member of the club. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Good morning. Okay. Traditional medicine. So here's the first thought I had when I read about your expo coming up. You guys are pharmacy students. You're talking about drugs. You're talking about the new age drugs that you create in pills and bottles and administer. Where does the interest in traditional medicine come from for the pharmacy club?
Well, a lot of people wouldn't really necessarily look at traditional medicine as a source for the ideal, like aspirin or any of the over-the-counter drugs you see in your pharmacy, but there are a lot of sources out there, naturally derived, that we use to get the synthetic drugs you get and use from a prescription.
Yeah.
Like the example I just gave you, aspirin comes from willow bark, and they're synthetically made in a lab because it's easier to get it in a lab, right? So that's something not a lot of us think of.
Yeah.
And we want to make the connection between traditional medicine, which we have a lot of in Belize, with the traditional Western medicine that a lot of us think of when we think of pharmacists.
That's such a key point, because I think people usually think you're either subscribing to one or the other. You're either into traditional medicine or you're into Western, what they call Western medicine. But what you're doing as pharmacy students is kind of tying the link together, right?
Yes.
So tell us about the idea for the expo. Where did that come from?
Well, basically, since this semester we're taking pharmacognosy and pharmaceutical chemistry, which is being taught by Mr. Yusuf Abubakar and Mr. Danladi Husseini, they have decided to work with us students to organize a traditional medicines expo, like you have already mentioned. This is basically for us to establish a relationship to collaborate with the traditional healers and scientifically research into what they have that is working. That is working in hope of us discovering a new drug. So it's just basically for the benefits too of the public also gaining knowledge from herbal medicines. And
so you're trying to get the well-known traditional healers in Belize to participate in the expo, right?
Yes, ma'am.
You've done some investigation. You found some of them so far. Tell me about that experience.
Well, right now we're just inviting them, like finding them. So that's our main goal right now.
Yeah.
But we have invited a few of them, and some of them are located in Belmopan. There's a lot of them all around the country.
Yeah.
So that's just the process of inviting them right now.
I think we have one all the way from PG or Dangriga.
Dongso.
But they're coming. We're definitely extending our invitations to countrywide.
It's like word of mouth because not a lot of them are into social media, so we have to try to ask by asking this traditional healer if they know someone, and then we go on by that and building, trying to find them.
Our goal is to invite probably like 15 to 20 people to this event. So, and then it's an opportunity for them to sell their own products to Belizean people, you know.
Yeah.
So.
Because the stuff they learn is all passed down information, so it's a wonderful untapped resources that a lot of us don't get to see or hear.
Well, historically speaking, it's what people relied upon for relief long before we had labs that could make synthetic medicines.
Right.
So I think common sense tells us that there is something about what is done in traditional healing that has worked.
Yes.
You know, in your classes, how much do you explore that? Do you invest? Because especially for us, we have the traditional aspects. We have what comes from our African ancestry. We have what comes from our Mayan ancestry. And so we have the information out there, and we also have a lot of natural resources that we can tap into. What have you learned in your classes that have helped you build that appreciation?
So we have the subject called pharmacognosy, which deals with deriving medicine from natural resources or plants. And so we've discovered like plants such as aloe vera, which is used medicinally. You could use it to heal cuts and wounds, or it could be cosmetic use, which it has emollient properties, which gives that soothing effect. Or it could be used as scars, you know, you could use that too. There's beets that help you build blood.
Beets?
Yeah.
Okay.
Beets.
We're just sucking all the information out of, you know. What else can we use at home? Yeah.
You know, there's garlic that helps to lower blood pressure. There's a soursop, which can be used as a laxative if you eat it. And castor oil as well. There's tea tree oil, which could be used as an antiseptic as well. There's a lot of plants that Belize has to offer, because you know we have a extensive tropical forest. You know, we have savanna, so there's all of that untapped potential that we need to investigate.
What's been the most interesting one for you personally? Like how you pointed out, the willow bark is kind of like the mother of aspirin. What else have you found out that has been really fast? Because I'm sure as pharmacy students, you probably would have people tell you about traditional medicine, but your natural inclination as a pharmacist is looking at those that have been developed scientifically. So what have you learned that made you think,
Well, during our classes, we go on site to pharmacies to practice whatever we're learning in class. And you make contact with a lot of patients, and they come up with all kinds of uses for stuff you wouldn't think of. Like I saw the other day someone came in for a powder, and they use it for their skin, and I asked the pharmacist, it's something new. I've never heard them say they're using it for their skin. I've heard of internally taking it for a laxative. Or
what kind of powder is that?
It's an alum powder.
Okay.
It's, if you go to the pharmacy, they'll know what you're talking about. Like I showed my classmate earlier, aloe, you can take it internally as a laxative, because she only saw it as a cosmetic, and I only knew it as a cosmetic. So I learned that they could dry it, package it, and you take it internally as a laxative, which a lot of our traditional medicine is some sort of laxative, like dried senna leaves.
Okay, interesting. How about you?
Well, what I find interesting, like as my colleague had said, is just I'm so sorry.
Is there like a pink? I thought that willow bark one was interesting. And did you know that in nature sometimes the remedy is right next to the, like when it grows in the wild trees. If a tree stings you, usually very nearby is a plant that soothes you.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's some of the things that you would learn in your classes as well?
Yeah. Like some people grow mint leaves in their own homes or whatever. Like, you know, well, in their own homes. And if you have an upset stomach, you can make a mint tea leaf to help relieve that pain. So,
you know, another herbal product that could moringa. I know you've heard of moringa already.
So is it worth all the hype?
That's a really pretty interesting drug that I've heard like a couple people have been using. That they drink it, you know, every day of daily use. Every morning, like for example, my in-laws, they boil it with ginger, and they take that as a tea. As a tea every morning, they drink that as a tea, and so far they say that it helps them. It helps them. I guess it helps them to build their immune system, and to also for blood pressure, if any, on cholesterol problems. I guess moringa is a very useful herbal drug.
You ladies have just made a lot of, especially our elderly population, very happy in confirming as pharmacy students that some of our herbal remedies and traditional remedies do work. I've been hearing about ginger and garlic all my life. And moringa as well has definitely become one of the more common trends. So people now know that there is some truth, there is some science behind it. What are you hoping in having this expo and the traditional healers coming in and sharing their products and the methodologies? What are you hoping to be the result of bringing them together?
Well, I just want to add over the moringa. You see, that's an interesting point. We take it for, as a tea, research and interest in our natural resources. That's what we want. We want people to look further into just taking it. We want to know what's causing its effects, what's the reason, and we want that with all other drugs we call crude drugs, because they only go through the process of collecting and drying. The aloe, the garlic has a lot of research done on it to prove that it's had its effect on your blood pressure, right? So we want everyone to take an interest. We don't just want the older crowd to be interested. We want everyone.
So you want to see studies done, looking at what some of these healers will be putting forward.
Exactly, because for this event we want to create awareness, because there is a lack of cooperation and partnership to actually further investigate these studies. So it's just to show about that.
Okay, so how do people get involved?
Well, if you're a herbalist, you can contact us at, well, you could call these numbers. I don't know if you could see it on the screen. If you go
they can show
lower, it's at the bottom of the.
They're gonna get to it. So
okay, but you could contact this number 622-6176 or 624-7063. If you're a herbalist and you would like to come and showcase your products and sell, you're more than welcome to call us and give us your information, and before the event, before March 25th, obviously. That's basically it, and we will make sure that we have everything for you, a table set up, your background drop-ins, and we will provide, I think we should provide them with refreshments and lunch. We'll try. But like I said, you're more than welcome. We extend our invitations to not only the herbalists and not only to older generations, but to also younger generations. For example, high school students can come. They're more than welcome to come. If you're in Belmopan,
so it's going to be at Belmopan, it's at the UB.
Yes, on UB campus. It's under the first gazebo. That's basically the first, as you enter the campus, it's right there, a big gazebo at the front. And
you'll be able to see all the work of the traditional healers who participate.
Right.
Do you also have other presentations that are going to take place, or it'll just be those who participate?
Just those who participate will be.
We're trying to get a
and we do have a speaker, but it's not yet confirmed as yet. So.
Okay. Well, I hope that you guys are the ones that are spurred into action to do some of the research. You might find something from one of these healers that really fascinate you. Are you telling them what to bring in what they'll showcase, or they'll just bring what they know works for them?
Whatever works for them.
Whatever
they
can.
So let's get the date and the details once again.
Okay, well, the date is March 25th. It's on University of Belize campus in Belmopan. It will start at 8:30 a.m. to up until 1 p.m.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, and it'll be open to the public.
Yes, it will be open
Everyone
to the
is
public.
welcome.
Everybody is welcome, so please feel free to come.
And the most critical thing right now is that if you are, or you know of someone who's a traditional healer or an herbalist, contact you guys.
Yes, please.
And they can have a booth and showcase their work there, and also get an opportunity to kind of sell their stuff as well. All right. Well, great job. Looking forward to it.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you very much. We're going to go ahead and take our final break, and when we come back, we'll have our wrap up, so stay tuned.